In the late 1800s, Physical Culture magazine was a pioneer for having fitness models grace their covers. They were considered too racy for the times and overcame an obscenity conviction in 1909 from the Supreme Court, which made them instantly more successful. Fitness magazines became the source of information for health, fitness, physical development, and bodybuilding. Many emerged over the years, and if you were a fitness model, your goal was to be on the cover of prestigious fitness magazine. As contests like Mr. America and Mr. Universe were created, so were great physiques like Steve Reeves. Steve embodied model good looks built for Hollywood, and people took notice. The International Federation of Bodybuilding was founded by Ben and Joe Weider in 1946, and popularity continued to grow for the sport. The IFBB conceived the elite bodybuilding competition Mr. Olympia in 1965, and the quest for muscle emerged, as did bodybuilding stars and fierce competitors like Frank Zane and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger had the size that men admired, and Frank Zane had the symmetry that men desired. Bodybuilding slowly began to shift over the decades from the Greek god look to the extreme muscle monsters of today, tipping the scales at over 250 pounds. Genetics aside, this new mass of muscle is not an obtainable look for most men to achieve nor desire, and many gave up pursuing extreme bodybuilding. A new boost in men's fitness modeling competitions started to take hold, and the IFBB took notice and created the new division of men's physique, which shifted the aesthetics back to the classic bodybuilding days of 30 years ago, where men have a more flattering look with small waists, a V-taper, and perfect muscular proportions. The approach between a fitness model and an IFBB Men's Physique Pro competitor differ by the fact that the fitness models stay roughly between 5 to 7% body fat daily, ready year-round for any given moment's notice for a photo shoot. The competitors have an on and off season preparing for the shows. In the off season, they bulk up to pack on the muscle gains, and their body fat can be as high as 12%. Then they start the leaning out process at 12 to 16 weeks before a competition, with their body fat dropping considerably to 3 to 4% range to achieve a dry and extremely shredded aesthetic physique. The better conditioning of the lean muscle mass, the better their show results. And since the average man can achieve this body of muscle with the right lifestyle of diet and training, the popularity of fitness modeling and competing has gained momentum.
Before there was physique, there's always been fitness modeling and there's been bodybuilding, but I never got the size and I never really wanted to be as big as a bodybuilder.
So I made it to the national level for bodybuilding, and I remember being backstage and they said, look, you've got great genetics, you've got a good marketable look, you could turn pro in bodybuilding for sure. It's gonna take you 10, 15 years. And not that I wasn't willing to put in that time, it's just I know my body and I know my frame. And to support anything over 200 pounds or even close to that for me is really stretching it. So I'm not gonna keep trying to gain and gain and gain. I'm just gonna fine tune until it's a perfect sculpture.
There's no hiding anything. Once the stage lights hit you, it's there. You're gonna see who cheated on their diet, who cheated on their last few reps, and then you're gonna see the guys like me, that went above and beyond. When I did get my pro card, it was amazing. It was better than winning my first pro show. You sacrifice for so many years and it finally happens. I was on cloud 9 for weeks.
No one even knew who I was. Stepping on stage in my pro debut and you're 2013 Greater Gulf winner and you're a new Olympia qualified athlete, and they said Olympia qualified athlete, Jeremy Buendia. And I'm just like, I sat there and thought I want an Olympia.
Men's physique is new. It wasn't around when I started. If it was, maybe I would have done it. Being always ready and 2 days out from a shoot paid dividends, because I have photographers that will call me because somebody came in and they were out of shape. Or they call me because they know I'm gonna be shredded to the bone and they don't have to worry about it.
It's never about what you look like yesterday. It's never about the picture you submit. What do you look like right now? I did a magazine cover that's actually coming out next month. And the guy texted me at 8 in the morning, a very professional photographer, and said, send in a picture right now that he could forward onto the magazine. And if they liked it, I shot the very next day. And usually they schedule ahead and they can give you a little bit of time, but they don't care what you say you're gonna look like. There is no integrity in fitness modeling. There is none. The body is so hard to manipulate. Never thought in a million years I'd be on a magazine cover.
Every single cover I look at in some way like a little trophy. Magazines were a way for me to build a brand in a sense and to build up my name as a fitness model or fitness expert. which then allowed me to start getting endorsement deals from the supplement companies, and then allowed me to start shooting all these products, infomercials and commercials.
Shot with everybody who you could ever think of, like Robert Reeve, I mean, all the best photographers, and landed my first cover, my first fitness cover. So that was like a dream come true.
Arnold's doing this new encyclopedia of bodybuilding, and he wants you to shoot the ab section. They've got me doing all these weird ab exercises. Arnold walks in, he says, I never have abs like you. And I said, well, coming from you, that's quite a compliment. I remember there were ab exercises I could not do. And he's like, you're the abs guy. How can you not do these jackknives? And I'm like, Arnold, I don't do jackknives. I've never done a freaking I don't even know what a jackknife is, you know? They want me, you know, with my legs up over my head, coming up, touching my hand, doing all these weird variations. And I'm like, I don't bend like that. So he's like, hey, Bill, do you have any fishing wire? We will tie it around his shoe, and then I hold it off screen, and that's what we call movie magic. And I said, oh my God, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, I'm sitting here in these little skimpy ass gym shorts. I'm trying to do like sit-ups. Bill's taking pictures. Bill's like, no, we don't have any. So he's like, okay, forget it. I'll just hold it myself. Come, I hold you. You just Photoshop me out, dude. Right? So we got the shots. And I just thought, this is so freaking surreal.
Greg Plitt is truly a fitness icon. He has appeared on more than 200 magazine covers and at least one cover every month for the last 5 years. Motivational speaker, actor, and ex-Army Ranger. Jeremy Buendia is an IFBB Men's Physique Pro, reigning Mr. Olympia champion, and endorsed athlete. TJ Hoban is a top fitness model, working actor. He has graced over 100 magazine covers, endorsed over 30 products, and has appeared on numerous TV shows.
That's what we do.
Sadiq Hadzovic is an IFBB Men's Physique Pro, first ever Arnold Classic champion, Olympia runner-up, and endorsed athlete.
Another day in paradise.
Matt Christianer is the first ever IFBB Men's Physique Pro and endorsed athlete. David Kimmerly is a top fitness model and has been on over 60 magazine covers and romance novels and endorsed athlete.
I say, push him down.
David Morin is a top fitness model appearing on numerous magazine covers and publications, an endorsed athlete and gym owner.
Get him out, find your way, without a doubt.
Jason Poston is an IFBB Men's Physique Pro, third on the Olympia stage, and an endorsed athlete. Colin Wayne is a fitness model appearing on numerous magazine covers and novels, social media sensation, and an ex-Army staff sergeant. Tanel Rodrigue is an IFBB Men's Physique Pro athlete.
It's gonna hurt a little.
Dennis the Menace James is an IFBB Pro bodybuilder who's appeared on the Olympia stage a staggering 11 times. Intense pro trainer, prep coach, and an endorsed athlete.
Nice and slow. There you go.
5 of the top fitness cover models and 5 of the top IFBB Men's Physique Pro athletes were brought together to share their lifestyles, their life stories, their intense drive and determination, and their enduring sacrifices, which makes them some of the best physiques in the world.
Here, man, take my seat.
Oh man, how you doing, man?
Good to
see you, bro.
Good to see you again.
Everybody doing good?
Good to see you, man.
You too, you too. What's up? Going all around, man, all around.
What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man.
How important is genetics? What do you guys think? A guy with genetics versus a guy with less genetics.
Does heart count?
Heart, of course, heart is, I think for me, heart is more important than genetics.
In everything.
Yeah.
In business.
If you don't have
in
the heart,
fitness,
the greatest genetics on the planet, it's not going to help you.
Yeah.
Genetics can take you so far.
We could say Jeremy has superior genetics. That's just my opinion. I think we've seen the first physique guy that does. How do we know that genetically Jeremy has better genetics than he does unless we do like some type of crazy scientific evaluation? The truth is, what you just focus on, what you can focus on is what is Jeremy doing versus what are you doing?
I've always had a good set of shoulders. So when I go to the gym, that's the last thing I'm gonna do. I have weak calves. When I go in the gym, when I'm fresh, when I'm strong, that's when I push my calves. So you have to be realistic with yourself and your physique.
Every action has, a purpose. Every action has a result. And then we never get burned out because hard work pays off. We start to see the transformation. Then we get addicted to it.
So basically you're saying when something is lacking, you got to train it more often?
If you've got 12-inch calves and 17-inch arms, then you're training your arms heavier than your calves. Genetics can be, to a certain point, manipulated. If I'm not training the muscle that, like a calf, that kind of gets forgotten, is my excuse the fact that I have small calves, or is the fact that I didn't man up and I didn't train it? I got a case of bursitis and I left them out.
The other things that genetics will help determine is, your shape. The lines in your definition.
Do you have an 8-pack?
Do you have a 8 or a 10 or a 6-pack or a 4-pack? Do you, and no matter how lean you get, it's not going to change your certain things about your body structure.
Although I worked out at home for many years, I still didn't feel comfortable to be in a gym. I was like, I'm not big enough to be in a gym. People are gonna look at me, So I never felt like I belonged. So the gym for me was more, number one, it was an escape, but it was also a place where I got to prove myself. I remember my first gym membership, I was 17 years old. My brother and we helped my neighbor move out, and she's like, please give this $200, 100 to your brother and 100 you keep for yourself. So I did something wrong, and I took all $200, and I bought my first gym membership. I bought a few months at a local gym, and it all started like that. And I told my brother after the Olympia, and I was, hey man, I owe you $100. I gravitated towards TV because that's all I saw was, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, guys like this. I used to watch wrestling. So these guys, one thing they all had in common was they had incredible bodies, and they exuded this confidence. So, growing up, I always just did a bunch of push-ups, a bunch of pull-ups, anything I could do. I used to do maybe 1,000 bicep curls a day. you know, for years and years and years. I wouldn't gain any muscle, but at least I was trying to, you know, and eventually it all clicked. And I guess that's what it was. I was trying to find myself.
Come on, Sadiq, come on.
I could count on one hand the amount of gym sessions I missed in the last 5 years. You know, it's very few. You know, so I work out, you know, twice a day, every day. I love it.
One injury can be career-ending. No matter, you know, all depends how bad of an injury it is. It could be a pec tear, it could be a biceps tear. It's over. You know what I mean? So how can you mimic heavy training by not using heavy weight? Why not just try to use lightweight and use it super, super slow? Because it feels like it's 3 times the weight. This is where it's time under tension right here. Keep pushing, man. Come on. All that tension. Come on. There you go. But it's 3 times less pressure on the joints, on the tendons, and on the muscle. You know what I mean?
And less repetition.
Yeah, and less repetition.
And with repetition, you know, it causes damage.
Yeah. So that's why I figured it out.
You know, the mentality for guys that are in the gym, it's very ego-driven. They want to go in there, they want to push as much weight as they can, and that's not it. That is a one-way ticket to nowhere, to injury. The way I've been able to do this for 16, 17 years is by just being real conscious of, you know, keeping my ego in check and not worry about what the guy next to me is benching.
People always ask me what compelled me to start working out. Really, it started when I was pretty young, about 12 years old. I was always a little kid, scrawny, tiny, big glasses, braces. I mean, my glasses were like Coke bottles. And funny hairdo, just an awkward little shy kid. It was very difficult for me to, even from that point forward, talk to a girl, let alone get a date. And I got bullied, you know, quite a bit as a kid, growing up in Chicago, tough neighborhood. You know what, one day I got tired of it. I got fed up, and I said, you know, I want to do something about this.
Come on.
And that's when I decided I wanted to start working out, and for that birthday, I asked my mom for a set of weights, turned my garage into a gym, heavy bag, speed bag, and I swear I thought it was Rocky, fighting for my life, every day.
I've grown up with fitness. Every morning I'd wake up, I'd listen to my dad clinking weights. I remember the first time I bench pressed the bar, I was like 5 years old, and that's bench pressing 45 pounds for a 5-year-old is pretty incredible. So, you know, I was doing push-ups and pull-ups and sit-ups since I can remember. I don't know if I was passionate about it when I was a little kid. I was just something that, you know, I saw my dad working out, it's something I did because I followed in the footsteps of my dad. And I had a lot of issues. I had separation anxiety when I was a kid. I had school phobia. We'd have like these speed math tests, you know, like 4th grade. And if I didn't win or if I didn't get 100% on the test, I missed one, I'd literally have an anxiety attack and I had to leave school. I just didn't have the social skills. I was always a good athlete and people always, you know, I was known for sports, but I was never hanging out with popular kids or we'd just cruise to the football games and my dad would just give me these pep talks, you know, just visualization and tell me what I had to do. And my dad was hard on us both, you know. Even like practices, I had goals every practice I had to do. We'd have live scrimmages or whatnot, and my dad would tell me, you have to make this X amount of tackles. I did it, you know, I always made sure I did what my dad asked me to do, and, you know, there would be certain times where I wouldn't do what he told me to do, and, you know, I'd hear it, you know. It's not because he was being a jerk, it's because he expected, he knew what my capabilities were.
You know, I got in so many fights. I wouldn't really call them fights. I'd get tapped on the shoulder and just blasted. My neighbor at the time was about 32 years old, and he was just jacked. And I was like, man, who is this guy? Like, I want to look like this, you know? And he got me my first job at the gym. It was a way that I could go in, and I could take all that negativity and harness it and focus it into something positive. I was getting bullied and harassed by so many people, and my car would get messed with, and I had people waiting with, no joke, baseball bats waiting for me because I worked at the gym late at night. I would leave by myself. I mean, I reached a point to where I felt like I was going to get killed. Like it was that, I basically got post-traumatic stress disorder from being bullied so bad at that young age because I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't understand why it was going on.
5. Let me throw this question out. Cardio, fast on an empty stomach, fasted or not?
Fasted.
Okay, why?
Because I get results.
There's pros and cons to it. Like, I don't do fasted cardio at all. I just
Why
feel
not?
like I lose a lot of muscle when I do it. I have to have something consumed in my body before I start my workout per se.
Yeah, but you don't worry about if you consume, let's say, 300, 400, 500 calories before you do your cardio, that's all you burn off? Instead of going to the body fat that you want to lose? That's why I think faster cardio is the main thing, because now you have no calories in your body.
Nighttime meal?
Are you eating carbs at night?
Yeah.
Okay, so, but carbohydrates are in and out of the system anywhere from 3 to 6 hours. So you have your meal at 9 p.m., you're having oatmeal, whatever. I mean, you're not saying what you eat, so I gotta assume here. You know, if you have egg whites and oatmeal at night, 54 grams of carbs, 50 grams of protein, okay, that oatmeal is gonna be in your system. You know, it's gonna be transported into glucose, okay? It'll restore what you burned off all day, or it'll be, you know, spilled over, and you'll store it as fat. So by the time you wake up, depending on, you know, what time it is, that's why you might need to explore healthy fats, you know, because if you're flattening out too much, you know, you gotta look at a more long-term energy source like a healthy fat, even at night.
If you haven't had your breakfast, do you keep your heart rate lower? And what is that number you keep it at for the extended period of time?
Personally, for me, the heart rate should be anywhere between 120 and 140, okay? And the length of the cardio depends on what your diet is like. If you're on a high-fat diet, let's call it the ketosis diet, I think you should go longer with lower intensity. And if you're on a low, moderate carb diet, you should go faster, higher intensity cardio. The best time to do cardio is always on an empty stomach. A lot of people, they don't have the cardio equipment at the house, they don't have the time to go to the gym because they gotta work. Then I tell them, then do it after your workout, where you're somewhat semi-empty again.
I'm gonna jump in and say something. The most effective thing for me is I'll do a minute of walk, followed by a minute of sprint. Then I'll bring my heart rate down again and walk for 1 minute, then I'll sprint for a minute. So constantly bringing the heart rate up and down.
You're doing that for an extended period of time, or do you shorten the amount of time you're doing your cardio?
Depends. Right now, I'm holding some body fat. I'll probably do 40 minutes. But leading up to a show, I'll be maybe 3% body fat. I'll probably do 25 minutes. You know, I've gotten away with doing 15 minutes and still losing body fat.
The way you're looking, you can't argue with Sadiq.
I started training super hard, eating 4,000 calories a day and 2-hour workouts a day, 5-6 days a week. I put on about 40 pounds naturally in about 6-8 months. You know, I mentioned I couldn't talk to a girl, let alone get a date, but I did actually get a date for homecoming and bought the new outfit and the corsage and rented the limo, and she called me the night of and told me she was going to be going with my best friend instead. I was so devastated. But it was one of those things that was just like, man, one day, you know, I'm not going to be overlooked.
Our second game of my senior year, went against a 207-pound center. He came out on me to try and lead block, and I popped him right in the mouth, but my neck snapped back, and I've never gone down on the field. My dad told me, I don't care if you break your leg, you crawl off the field to never stop a game. So my neck snapped back, stinger down the side. I just felt my arm went completely numb. Ran off the side, you know, I didn't stop the game, ran off, my arm dangling. Ended up bulging a disc in my neck, and it hindered me the rest of the year, you know, but we had high hopes of me getting scholarships going into my senior year. When I finished football and I realized I wasn't gonna play football in college, I went to my coach and I told him, hey, I'm dropping your weights class. I was like, I'm not gonna get big training the way you're having us train, so, you know, I wanna be a bodybuilder. I was prepping for my first bodybuilding show before I graduated. So I go to school, my food, and kids would just give me a hard time. Even teachers would give me a hard time. You know, I had a teacher call me no neck. Being shorter and having muscle, you're an easy target because I got bigger guys want to test you.
Been dying to ask, you know, some of you IFBB pros, are you guys, you know, there's so many different equations out there to follow for dieting, or I call it thinning the skin. Are you guys really into carb cycling, or are you just going negative calories? How are you keeping track of how negative you are to make sure you're not burning up your muscle?
You know, myself and my coach, we go day to day. We read my body every day, and we make the adjustments we need based off where my weight's at, the way I'm looking, and how tight I am. You know, carb cycling, I use carb cycling. You know, I'll have my high days, my low days, my moderate days. So if I want to drop down and tighten up, I'll drop my carbs or drop my calories a little bit. And, you know, if I want to refeed back up and boost my metabolism, I'll have a high day, and then I'll drop right back down. Because typically, you know, when you do a refeed day, you might hold a little bit the next day, but the following day, your weight will actually be lower.
Hold a little water?
You hold a little bit of water, but that boost of the higher calories and higher carbs is going to speed up metabolism, so you will be able to drop the next few days after that.
Cool. Down 4 pounds.
What would your fat and your carb be?
Personally?
Yeah.
For me, my fats are around 50 grams of fat a day, and my carbs can vary between 70 on a low day, between 50 grams to 125 grams of carbs. Usually, my weight will hold around 175 grams of carbs. But I don't go super high on fats, and when I do, my carbs are a lot lower. It's I either take in my fats or I take in the carbs. I usually choose between the two. It depends on your body. Like me and Matt are roughly the same size, and I carved up the day before Olympia on 400 grams of carbs. He carved up on 1,000. If I were to do 1,000 grams of carbs, I'd spill over like that.
Right.
When we say, okay, we go up in fats, let's say you go up to 90 on a low carb day, what sources of fat do you choose?
I usually use salmon, lean red meat, almonds, almond butter.
Yeah, which is good essential fatty acids, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anybody likes peanut butter?
I don't like peanut butter because I'll eat the whole damn jar.
Too much, yeah. That's self-manipulation.
I'm a peanut butter freak. So I went to the show. He told me, stop drinking 3 days out. I stopped drinking, not knowing that you can kill yourself. 3 days out from the show, I totally eliminated the water, which means now I'm carb loading. What do I need to carb load? That's oatmeal. Don't drink for 1 day and try to eat oatmeal dry.
The quickest way to lose body fat is to double your muscle mass. You need to lift heavy and you need to eat. Develop that muscle mass, and then your body will just lean out naturally to sustain that muscle. More muscle burns more fat.
That's what we do in the gym. We're tearing our body apart and then rebuilding it.
I never liked the gym. I hated the gym, as a matter of fact, until my ex-wife left me for a guy in the gym. I need to get in shape. He's got what I want. The challenge is on. I'm 6'2" at the time. When I got into the gym, I was 168 pounds. If I turned sideways, I'd disappear. Except for that nice little belly I got, because I had a desk job. And so I got in the gym, and the fascinating transformation occurred, and I was hungry. I was hungry for growth. I realized that living in a sedentary job field and, you know, living the domesticated life of the 9 to 5 and coming home and that whole grind isn't conducive to biology. I got in there and started realizing that first it was anger, you know, that propelled me into weight training, you know, and all that stuff, and building the body and becoming strong. Then it started becoming my therapy because I started transmuting all those negative feelings, and it was working. You know, like it helped me transition from that breakup and get the attention I wanted from everybody else. What else can I do in my life the same way? You know, what else did I have that was untapped potential, that was maybe negative, that I could turn around? And that's when I realized there was a lot of people that I knew that needed the gym.
What is harder, losing fat or gaining muscle? You got the ectomorph that's screaming, oh my gosh, muscle's hard to put on. You got the mesomorph saying, dude, I wish I could just eat everything I want.
Well, I would much rather have a fast metabolism and have a hard time putting on size, because you can always put size on. There's many methods. You know, it takes a daily grind to keep weight off.
Back down to your body type, though. You're an ectomorph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of meso too.
Well, I mean, I saw your pictures when you were a kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I was small.
That's an interesting point, because I think, you know, they say there's a phenotype and that's what you are, but I think you can transform, you can change. Yeah. You can be a pure ectomorph based on the signals of the protocol in the environment.
A lot too.
You're a soccer player, you're an ectomorph. But you take that soccer player and you put him on, you know, a 12-week, you know, compound movement plan and improve his diet and supplements, you can make it into a mesomorph in 12 months.
Yeah.
So genetics and all this stuff people talk, it's like, it's all relative to environment.
I can fluctuate 5 pounds in a day if I'm not eating right. I drop weight like that.
See, the fat guy hates you.
I started at 93 pounds, ectomorph. Could not gain weight, I just had to eat and eat and eat. 8 to 10 meals, 8,000 calories a day, because I wanted to get bigger and get bigger and get bigger. And then you finally got there, and then for me, I fine-tuned it. But it was hard.
But I always wondered what it would be like to have to eat too much and have that be a problem.
Well, it was a problem because it costs a lot of money to eat that much.
Touche. All right. So I like that.
There's more than one aspect to it. I was broke, so.
Who believes in cheat meals?
I utilize my cheat meal. I utilize my cheat meal on a lagging body part day. Just getting that higher amount of, the overnourishment of the food, utilizing more, consuming more red meat to get the extra creatine on a lagging body part, a higher amount of carbs, the type of carbs. I like to go with starchy carbs on a lagging body part day because those carbs are going to hit me a lot quicker. My body's going to utilize them, and I'm going to be able to grow faster.
I'm glad that you brought this up because a lot of people cheat on their day off. They use their day off to do the cheat meal, and I was always the same. I said, I cheat, but I got to train that day. I always did the same thing. I had to cheat at least once a week because I believe that it spikes my metabolism first, and number two, it keeps you sane from dieting, and you get, you feel good, that day, and it keeps you for another 3, 4, 5 days, and then you suffer one, and you already have another cheat meal again.
You see me, I'll go from 240 to 190, with a matter of a couple weeks, and I know that my body reacts to that type of training.
I believe that when you fluctuate a lot, and you go through these, vicious cycles of packing it on and then ripping it down, that it messes with your brain, among your other things like your body chemistry. But I found that once I started eating really clean on a daily basis and then having cheat meals, like for me it's having desserts, and that kind of keeps my sanity.
I mentally, as badass as I try to be, I got a really hard time stopping the cheat.
That's the difference between people that's going to make it and the people that won't make it. Roll it down one more time, right here. Come on. Come on. Come on, Sadiq. Come on, where you at? Come on.
I can do this.
Yes. Come on. And 3. Come on. 1. Come on. 2. And good.
A lot of people think that bodybuilders are selfish. I'm not selfish. I'm focused.
I don't need to sit at home like a hobbit. And that's kind of how I lived before. It was like, I can't go anywhere. I'm on lockdown. I got a show coming up. I can't do this, I can't do that. And you put people off. And guess what? You lose people. And guess what? Sometimes you don't get them back.
It's hard on your friends too, because they're not wrong for thinking the way that you think. It's not normal. It's not normal to be in the gym every day for 4 hours. It's not normal to be eating every 2 hours. It's not a normal thing. But that's why the sport is so great, because it's so difficult.
People that aren't doing what we're doing don't necessarily understand the things that we put ourselves through.
I came back from overseas in the military. I was in a hotel lobby bar. I'm trying to work my game that night, trying to get the digits and get the shit situated, And as I'm doing this, I get a tap on my shoulder, and as an agent, he keeps on talking to me, and he's like, "Hey man, you got good look. You should come to my room, get some pictures." And I didn't know how to take that, man, So those were fighting words for me back in the day. So I went right up to his room right away and stripped out. No. I told you, sexual favors.
How it all started.
No, but I took his card down, man. He's saying, "Hey, I can make you famous. I can get you a cover. I can get this." You want to hear that, so you believe it right away. You don't do the due diligence to really research it. Next thing you know, you're in a trap, in a corner. Your integrity's on the line, your name's on the line, and what are you going to do? And you can't just back out right away because then, you're going to burn a bridge. This guy's going to hate you. It's a really bad situation. So that card, I did my due diligence. I checked him out, researched him, found out he's legit. I gave him a call and said, "Hey, what do you think if I come up there?" So we did a test shoot, and the test shoot landed the cover of Muscle and Fitness. If you believe in what you're doing and what your work is backloaded with is passion and love, I think it's going to go a lot further than glory or fame or just popularity. I think those fuels burn out in that fire. But at the end of the day, it's like you just got to show up. If you show up, you at least put yourself in a position to get an opportunity. You know, if you sit at home, you know, no one's gonna come knocking on the door.
Fitness for me has always been a very private thing. It's been my coping mechanism, it's been my release. And that's why, you know, I never got compelled to go up on stage and compare myself to other people, because to me, I just wanted to be the best me, you know? And the surefire way I knew to screw up something that you love is to try to make a business out of it. It's no longer fun. Now it's a job. Covers are a byproduct of just fucking working out, to be honest. I don't try to monetize them.
Bullshit. You don't want to get on the stage, compare yourself to other people. I think that's why anyone gets in a sport, to compare themselves to
Some
another
people
person.
have something to prove.
I was never in your sport, bro.
Yeah, but what sport? Were you in any sport?
I wrestled for 6 years. I did martial arts, I boxed, but...
You want to be on covers of magazines, you want to be in magazines, you want to act, you want to put on makeup, you want to get in front of lights, cameras, action, but you don't want to get up and show your hard work and show that your hard work is better than someone else's. I don't understand. I don't get it.
You're missing my point, bro.
Yeah, I am, so that's what I'm asking.
For me, I never wanted to make a business out of fitness because it was something very dear to me ever since I was a kid. It was something that actually helped me overcome adversity. It's something that I've still to this day turned to every time I got an issue or a problem. I go work out. I respect what you guys do, so don't take it that way.
No, I know I'm not. I'm just...
You might have, but the truth is, I admire what you guys do to put your balls on the line, because it's not a pure sport. It's left to the subject of opinion to people, and everyone has different opinions. Judges have different opinions. And who's to say, you know, you're not as good as this guy? You guys are fucking at the top of your game. Who's to say you're not as good as this guy? He's fucking badass. He won the title. He deserves it. And I ain't taking nothing away from you. It's subjective. And call me a control freak, but I don't like leaving my fate up to subjective opinions of others. That's part of it. The other is, I got into fitness because I just started working out because I had issues I had to sort out as a kid. So that's what I turned to instead of drugs or alcohol.
And some of us live with two different people, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Who you are, your persona that you use, everything you use to manipulate some persona to get some type of success is an illusion. Yeah. It's the ego.
If we don't have a belief that we can become that person, that lack of a belief turns every journey into a debate. Pain versus pride. And pain starts to feel so much that all of a sudden we start second guessing who we want to be.
Well, you can manipulate it, just at the end of the day, don't believe that that manipulation was ever you. Because when that's taken away from you, you'd be pretty sad. You know, you don't put stock in stuff that's manipulated. You put stock in who you are, the value who you are, and your emotion and your happiness. Because we take away all the stuff that we use, we take away all the supplements we use. I mean, ultimately, we became who we are because we really, truly weren't happy. We couldn't accept who we were. You know, we go through a process of accepting ourselves. You believed in the title, you believed in the cover, you believed in this. And then when it was gone, fuck, who am I?
I mean, how many guys you see go in the gym, man? And it's like leg day, right? And it's their day they don't want to do. That's their weakest day, right? They go into the gym and going to do legs, right? And all right, so they go in that off hour, no one's really there. But it so happens Sally's there, some girl that they want to hook up with. So all of a sudden, it doesn't become leg day, does it? Turns right into arm day or something, or chest day, so they can show off in front of Sally. That's someone that's doing something for a third party. You know, they don't pay your bills, yet you give them all this value. It makes no sense. If you really want Sally, you believe in what you want, you go after no matter what anyone says. And when then you reach those horizons, trust me, Sally and Sue and Nicole and everybody else is gonna come and you get to pick your choice because you're a leader, man.
Ready for battle! million soldiers ready to deal with the agony of battling by the light of the earth. Ready for battle, ready for war, ready to fight, here to tear down the walls. I soldier it hard, the blood on the stone. If I ever fall, then I get up for more, cause I'm ready for battle. Ready for war, cause I'm ready for battle.
I grew up in cooking a lot. I could cook anything and everything. But since I'm dieting all the time, I don't get to enjoy any, that's why I look forward to Austin. Cooking is one of my favorite things to do.
I hate pulling water. Do you like?
This just depends on how conditioned you come into the show and how ready you are. For me, at the San Jose show, I didn't carb until 2 days before because I was already super conditioned and I didn't have to pull water very hard. Post Olympia, I came in bigger, but I was holding water, so I started carbing up on Tuesday, 4 days out, and I pulled water a lot harder the last 2 days, and it works both ways, but I prefer to not pull water as hard because you don't feel as bad. My head was killing me Friday.
Wake up with headaches.
I was walking through the expo and everybody coming up and trying to talk to you before you go on stage. I just wasn't there mentally. I was like, everybody, I gotta go and go rest. Yeah. I train hard all up to the showtime.
Really?
The day before I don't work out, but
you don't find yourself swollen?
No.
I don't hit legs hard, that's for sure. Yeah. Before I shoot. You'll see my legs swell.
Yeah, I don't.
With bodybuilding, we'd stop it for me 7 to 10 days out. I would stop doing legs, so they wouldn't hold water, know. But it's different now, Pretty much working all the way up until the show.
I don't train that too hard the last week so I can walk straight on stage. It's not just we diet for 2 days and then we take a day off, or it's day after day after day, week after week after week, month after month after month, and year after year after year. That's you've been doing this for 15 years now, and the way you looked back then wasn't as good as the way you look now. Right. It's just it's a constant progression.
We do something that looks very healthy, but in actuality, it's very damaging to the person mentally and physically. If you're training twice a day every day, if you're not consuming the right amount of calories, if you're not sleeping and resting enough, you're risking injury. I'll tell you what I feel like a day before the show. Day before the show, noises hurt me. It gives me headaches. Bright lights, they give me headaches. TV, everything is off. Dizziness, confusion, anxiety. All these things come into play in the last few weeks before a show. And you really do, you have to remind yourself, hey, this is only happening, I only feel this way because I'm so, lean. Your body needs calories, it needs that stuff to, feel normal, and it's not normal, and you will not feel normal. I heard a quote one time, they said, to get in the best condition of your life, you have to feel your worst. I never once, had anxiety or headaches or felt sick. But once I really started dialing down and getting into that 1% body fat, you could see how the mind will play tricks on you. Most people, they would go to hospital for that, but not me.
Yeah.
Got my 6-pack bag. I'm loading it up with my fuel meals, which prepare all my meals for me. Helps keep me fueled throughout the day. Let's go train.
Everybody got my city on lock. I'm grinding, stacking paper, really made it to the top. I'm grinding, I'm grinding on the drop. I'm grinding, I ain't grinding for the money, I ain't grinding for the fame, but I'm grinding so hard and the franchise, the name, yeah, the answer's still the same. Yo, time is what you rep. Colorado till I die, yo, until there's nothing left. No breath in the lungs, no gas in the tank, until there's nobody, somebody, and nobody again. Everybody say that they grinding, you ain't grinding till you listen, and everybody say they shining, you ain't shining till you glisten. And I'm looking at this music, reevaluate position, and if all the greats dead, I'm about to come a missing, and I'm better than a veteran, clever than a head of go with dissidents.
The reason most people fail in achieving their perfect physique is because they fail in the kitchen. So I don't care how hard they train in the gym, you know, how many repetitions, how many days you're training, you're not gonna see any results unless you eat properly. You know, if I have a Ferrari, I'm gonna put 93 octane in my Ferrari. I'm not gonna put low-grade gasoline. I don't enjoy cooking, but you know, I enjoy winning. And in order for me to win the Mr. Olympia, I have to eat the way I eat, and it's gonna pay off.
This is probably 60 grams of protein. I have to weigh it. At this point though, when you weigh something every single day, all day, every day, 8 times a day, for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6, then you literally can look at something and be pretty damn accurate. So he's always got about 80 grams of carbs there.
That's pretty beastie, man.
I mean, I sit there and count it up. Like, okay, he's
Pretty
got,
beefy.
like, I look at food constantly because I don't have a scale everywhere. So I'm like, he's got about, what, 7 ounces or 8 ounces of steak?
10.
10 ounces?
That's like 10.
That's like 10.
And that's like 8 or 9 ounces of sweet potato.
And it's a nice
Okay.
low glycemic carb, so it's diabetic friendly carb in general.
So he's going like 75 grams of protein and 80 grams of carbs.
Don't forget about the pickle.
And the pickle.
And the pickle, baby.
One of the things that I noticed that were the differences between the physique guys that actually compete against each other and the fitness guys are that physique is a competition. You guys are getting up on stage and you are competing against each other. And so that immediately puts you in a different mindset to where this person is your friend and you can compartmentalize that. But at one point or another, there's a switch that happens, just like fighters fighting each other that are in the same camp, where you got to take that person down and you got to do everything you can to win within the rules. And so at that point, they become your competitor.
David, you getting ready to compete. Is this your first show?
I won the Mr. California overall. I won the
so
Mr.
you
Utah
qualified
overall.
for the
Yeah,
nationals.
I've qualified, and I go to the nationals and the USAs, and I end up, and I guess my biggest mistake is overthinking it. I was going up there and doing what I felt like the judges wanted to see, and I was wrong. I would go up there and do my fitness model poses. So
what's your approach now?
Now I've perfected my posing as much as I can, do a different presentation to the judges, and hopefully I place a little better this time.
Hani Rambod, known as the Pro Creator, has 13 Olympia titles to his credit as a pro trainer and prep coach of some of the top physiques in the world.
I really work extensively on my posing. A lot of athletes, they just focus on the gym. Yeah, you can have the best physique in the world, but if you can't present it right, it doesn't matter.
With this transition, staying square across the top, small waist.
Yeah, buddy.
Excellent.
What up? There you go. There it is. You see how he's bending his knee?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You know why we do that?
No.
If you bend that knee slightly, catches judge's eye. You're going to be competing against 300 national level competitors. All of them have amazing physiques. You need to grab their attention even though you're standing on that line.
You can't go on stage and display your physique the way you need to be displaying it. You're gonna get lost in the mix. So being able to manipulate angles and then accentuate your strengths and minimize your weaknesses is gonna make you a great poser on stage. Having that charisma on stage to capture the audience, to capture those judges is very important because, you know, in our sport, it's a pretty boy sport. So we gotta go up there and present that.
The last thing you want to do is worry about what the guy's doing next to you. Yeah. You want to really make sure you maximize what you have to show.
So when you're up there, have that confidence, have that swag that you already have. Just be natural and be comfortable. The moment you start rushing things and forcing things on stage, it's going to show and it's going to transpire through your routine, and it's going to make you look very uncomfortable up there. Take your time. You bust your butt 24/7, 365 days a year to go on that stage for 20, 40 seconds, maybe if you're lucky, 2 minutes. Okay?
Everyone has a great physique on that stage. Everyone deserves to be there. But if you don't show the judges that you want it, if they can't feel your heart and your dedication while you're up there, you ain't gonna win.
Walk out, you're gonna hit your routine. Each the national level and an amateur level, you get front and back pose, back to the front, 3 poses, okay?
1, 2, 3.
Nope, switch your footwork, come on. What we just did, practice, step across, step back.
1,
Perfect
2,
practice.
3.
And bam, 1, 2, open up, elevate the shoulders.
You're not as wide as you could be. Yeah, now you are.
Feel that?
Yeah.
Right there.
So my rear delt's not popping.
There.
Right there. Right there. Stay right there. Stay right there.
There.
Get the shoulders up. And what you do is when your shoulders come down, you're gonna look straight up and down. You're gonna lose your V taper. You gotta keep your shoulders up.
the best man is going to win. You want to display the least amount of weaknesses on that stage.
Step back across, nail it. Boom. Tight. Right there. Okay? Obliques tight. Good smile. Okay? Stay smiling. When you gotta keep that smile, because when you're smiling on stage, you have to keep your abs tight. So your breathing technique when you're on stage has got to be specific. Short breaths, breathing through the chest, not through the stomach. Okay? Keep it right
Let
there.
me tell you something about catching your breath. You're looking at the judges. You know when they're focusing on you and when they're focused on the guy in the center stage. When I need to catch my breath, I wait for the right moment when they're not looking at me, and I go, and I hold my breath again, and I contract the abs.
The guy covers you up on stage, you gotta make sure you step out. So what's gonna happen is there's gonna be a bunch of guys lined up. So line up on the side. Matt's gonna do his routine. You guys line up on the side, he's gonna step right in front of you. So bam. If that's the case, you need to step out this way.
Stepping out.
Keep stepping out. The exercisers on the stage, not in front of you. This is important though, because if you get lost on the side, you get covered up. They're not gonna be able to see you. They're not gonna call you out for that first call outs. You can keep bumping out. There's exercisers on the stage. I don't care if you end up in the middle of the stage. It's not your job to get covered up. It's their job to keep you guys in a line. So just keep stepping out, and they'll pull you guys back in. Okay? So don't worry about overshadowing somebody, because it's about you.
So what I used to do in the MPC, I used to switch my pose every 6 seconds.
Yeah, just keep moving a little bit.
And it's gonna attract their eye. Like, why does Kimberly keep moving? Oh, actually, he's got a really good physique. Maybe we'll bump him up on a scorecard. So always have their attention. What are the most important things going into a men's physique show? I always tell them 3 things: small waist, rounded deltoids, and a ridiculous V-taper.
It's hard. It's hard to be able to embrace my off season. Especially with everything I've been seeing at the social media and the hate I've been getting for not being stage ready all the time.
Your body needs to rest, and as you know, every time your body gets worn down, it doesn't want to change. It doesn't want to start getting leaner. It hits that plateau, and it does that because your body's adapting. It's fighting against trying to come down and get ultra lean. So when your body has that break, you saw what it did. We were able to make some huge changes. We put 7 pounds of pure muscle on you and got you harder and more conditioned than you've ever been before. But if we just jump right back into a prep, it's going to be, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, we're going to have to start getting ready. Your body's not going to be able to bounce back when you're not even done dieting for all these photo shoots that we're still doing. We're not even done doing that yet. So we have to try to strategize, create the blueprint, work off of being able to work on the off season. The guys keep getting bigger and bigger, bring you in a little bit bigger, bring you in just as hard if that condition was just right on point, because you don't want to get too hard, but being a little bit fuller on your body, getting a little bit more muscular is okay. But we got to draw a really thin line, because at the end of the day, this isn't bodybuilding. We don't want to go the other way. This is one of those sports that if you're almost too good, it's going to hurt you. Mm-hmm. You have to have that right balance.
Being the champion is new to me, so understanding that this is what's going to come along with it, is something I'm learning.
At the end of the day, you've got to be confident with who you are, and you don't have to prove yourself. You already did that.
I have pictures of Jeremy, getting presented the first place award at the Olympia on my phone, just to remind myself, and I'm proud of his accomplishment, and that's what I want. I think hunger is the most important thing, and the only thing that makes me hungry is, failure. And I'm an athlete that's not afraid to fail. If I get second or third, that's what I consider failing. Although it's a really great thing, that's what pushes me and makes me excel to the next level. After this year's Olympia, a lot of people are like, hey man, how do you feel? Are you upset? You got second place? I was like, no, it's the best thing that could happen, In my mind, being perfect is being Mr. Olympia. And you know what? I'm number 2 in the world. I didn't win because I wasn't the best. So I'm gonna get back to the gym and I'm gonna train until I'm number 1.
Oh, fuck.
You all right? Yeah.
I'm good, big boy. This is what it takes to be number one, huh?
This is the torturous stuff I do to move from second to first place. All these little details that competitors don't want to do to make the improvements they want to make, this is one of them. Are you willing to suffer? You know, how bad do you want to win? Do you want to jump in a tub full of fucking ice? You ask me, I want to win. And that's what I'm willing to do.
I was diagnosed with diabetes September 1st, 2011.
I admitted myself to the hospital and they found my blood sugar was a little over 550, which the doctors told me was close to a comatose level.
Crazy symptoms like unhealable sores, numb, tingling in the hands and feet that leads to amputations, chemicals in the brain that can cause ketoacidosis if the blood sugar gets too high. You literally you go crazy. The doctors do tell you, you can still eat the fruit, you can still eat oatmeal, you can still eat all these carbs, you just dose your insulin. Well, no, you can't eat normal. You have to come to a point as a diabetic that I have to eat low carb the rest of my life.
Keeping up with my blood sugar and keeping up with my food, I have to know exactly what I eat every single time I eat. It's gotta be precise, and the medicine that goes into my body, that when I inject my insulin, I have to inject the exact amount of carbohydrates and proteins and fats that I'm gonna eat, or my blood sugar will go up or down or fluctuate. I don't go into the stomach like most diabetics because we've got our shirt off as IFBB Pro, and I don't want the scar tissue or the bruising on my stomach. So I put it in a location that's hidden.
It's not easy. And that's where I'm at now. My life has changed. Going through what I went through my first year of being diabetic, it sucked. I mean, I was like, you lay there in bed and you're kind of like, this is what the rest of my life's gonna be like? Really? And because your energy level, I mean, you just want to sleep all day. There's all the diabetics know what I'm going through. And then the sick people, the other people that deal with health issues. So what do? Do you cry about it? Do you whine about it? Yeah, you let it out. But at what point do you say, enough is enough?
Nothing I want to do more but to make him proud. If I have one goal in life, is to make him proud. My dad and I are so much alike that, we have such a good, close relationship, but when we get in arguments, we're both very, very stubborn, and we're very, very similar in how we get angry, that we won't talk for months at a time. I will lay my pride down to make things right with him, just so we can both be okay again, because when my dad and I are tight, like, I'm on the phone with him every single day, a couple times a day. It kills me. He didn't come to my first Olympia, because we were arguing. And that's the only show I ever lost. I never lost nothing from my dad. Never lost in front of my dad. My dad has the highest expectations for me. When he looks at me, he sees a star. And that's the way it's always been. My dad always told me, you're gonna be somebody. I wouldn't change anything. I'm proud of the person I am. I have my flaws, I know that, and I work on them every single day. I know exactly what my flaws are. And I'm very aware of them.
Don't fight with somebody that has a different opinion. Don't fight with somebody that likes him better than you. How you gonna do that? You wanna fight with everybody? That's what you wanna do? That's not a champ. Champ is, keep your cool. Keep your cool. When something like this happens, keep your cool. You're the champ. You're not supposed to fight. You're supposed to be the champ. Act like a champ.
You almost got in a fight with my director of marketing of last year, the day after the Olympia, in the gym. You almost got in a fist fight. I mean, I got a phone call saying, you need to drop this guy. This guy is no good. He doesn't have the right attitude. He doesn't have this. He's not fixable. And I just said, I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that we can turn him around. And I knew that we could try to focus, all that anger into training and being able to focus on, that end goal, which is to try to, win the biggest show in the world. I've really seen a huge change just since last year.
I demand respect. I don't deserve to be disrespected. I'm a good person. I work my butt off and I do what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, I don't feel anybody has the right to disrespect me or belittle me. And I feel that's why I get so upset when people do say stuff to me.
Everyone has their own definition of winning. You know, me, I mean, I see success in every failure because every time I lose, I get better. You know, so what is winning? Getting a gold medal when you weren't the best guy on stage? You know, what about if that does happen? And you know that you're not the best guy on stage, then what? You're not the winner. You know, so you can't sleep at night. That gold medal doesn't mean anything. So when you know that you were the best guy, regardless of the placing, that where you placed, that's winning.
They can work their hardest all they want to. It's not good enough. I'm meant to be the best. Nobody will ever take that away from me. Yep. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
How important are supplements, nutrition supplements, and what, if you do, what do you use?
You know, I'm taking the multivitamin from Metrex. I'm taking the carnitine, CLA, the whey protein powder, probably once a day.
You guys travel all the time, so you can't have a kitchen with you.
Mm-hmm. When I'm traveling, I like to make sure that I bring enough protein so I can snack down 3 shakes a day while I'm there, because I don't know how readily available good quality food is.
I do 2 protein shakes a day. I do one first thing in the morning, and instead of adding water, I add egg whites. It's a hydrolyzed isolate whey, and then I do one post-workout. I do a pre-workout as well, just because I like the energy, the focus, the endurance of it. And then I do a fat burner and a multivitamin, and that's, keep it pretty simple, but the basics, and it works pretty well.
Then let's say off season like Jeremy and Sadiq, what do you guys rely on right now?
Definitely a fast-acting carbohydrate drink.
Carbohydrates.
Which I'll either drink pre-workout, I might drink it intra-workout, or post-workout.
Mm-hmm. So you don't use it intra and post, so you choose either one?
I will choose depending on how many carbohydrate meals I had leading up to that day. But most of the time I find myself drinking it during my workout. I'll mix in some BCAAs to help keep me anabolic during my workout, as well as I will take a protein shake, of course. I'm sure all of us use protein shakes, in addition to a pre-workout. You know, I don't get to the gym till 8 p.m., so I do need that, you know, boost from the pre-workout to get me fired up.
You know, let's talk a little bit about the differences between protein. Like, do you take in casein?
On the off season, I'll absolutely take in casein. This way, you know, I have a steady release of protein while I'm sleeping.
How about hydro-iso?
Hydrolyze, not in the off season because it's very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll take an isolate off season, and I'll switch to a hydrolyze when I'm closer to a show.
And how do those react differently for you?
Well, under the Olympia stage lights, you know, they react, you know, you can see the difference, you know, between a hydrolate and isolate. Isolate, you know, has a little bit of dairy in it, whereas a hydrolyze doesn't. It doesn't convert to dairy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big difference, you know, when you're sitting in front of the judges. But for the average person trying to look good, there's no difference.
Creatine, BCAAs. I like to use carnitine before my workout just to help convert the fat into energy. I use a fast-acting carbohydrate, and that is determined on what body part I'm training and how much I use of that. On a lagging body part, I'm gonna use more of that to just make sure I'm getting the optimal out of my body on that specific day, so my body's in a surplus, so my specific muscle group will have more than enough to grow.
To maximize hypertrophy, you have to consistently give the body nutrients and shuttle those nutrients through.
Exactly.
I've found as I've gotten older, you know, recovery is critical. So a lot of glutamine I use post-workout with my protein. I do use a pre-workout because I need that kick in the ass, you know. But I've noticed an absolute correlation between, you know, specific protocol post-workout that's going to optimize recovery because I'm jacking up the intensity to my workout.
So I'm coming in full steam, you know, I'm gonna hit that workout hard, but I also need to make sure that just as much prep is on the back end to help the recovery process. ZMA, minerals, anything I can do. As an older guy, I'm 40, so ZMA is gonna give me that zinc that I need, magnesium. That's gonna help me rest and get that growth.
There's so many great supplements, but I think what overrides it, obviously, I think intensity is the number one. You're in the gym for an hour. These supplements really give you 150% return of your hour as opposed to other things because it immediately goes to the body because it's not really what you're taking, it's the timing of what you take and what your body absorbs. So we don't really grow in the gym, we all know. We get weaker, actually. Well, we create the demand for our body to grow outside with rest and nutrition. So when we can do a hard workout, that sponge or muscle is now wrung out, it's ready to be absorbed, anything, we can pour on these supplements, which is like a concrete, more pure form that our muscle, the perfect food for it. And there's certain supplements you take at night, you know, that's slow release, you know, protein with casein, you know, but right to the gym, you don't want to take that. And just like carbs and there's good carbs and bad carbs, what overrides a good carb or a bad carb is a good opportunity or bad opportunity to take it because you don't want to take a good carb right before the gym. No, you want to take a bad carb, something with sugar. So in that time, a good carb is bad because of the timing. So I mean, my six are like, so protein, BCAAs, L-glutamine, creatine, HMB, like them both. You need your multivitamin, like you said. You need fish oil, pre-workout, you go. But number one is intensity and pussy, man. You gotta get that pussy out. Nothing drives you.
The ultimate anabolic supplement.
Nothing drives you better. Nothing drives you better.
That was a good run.
Yeah, couldn't be a better night for it, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful here.
Yeah, it's therapy in a way. I think most people think the gym is all about putting on size and everything else and building this external body. And as you know, especially in the wartime environment, in the military, the mind's your strongest weapon. I mean, how many days have you gone through hell and the body just doesn't work anymore? What keeps you going is a mindset.
Right.
You know, that's always the limiting factor. So you build that in the gym, you know, and you build this way of life.
Fitness is my lifestyle, and I love every aspect of it. And so I just chase my dreams.
That's a big thing with fitness models and this career. What is your goal? What gets you up in the morning to go that distance? It can't be about the vanity of the mirror. It's got to be something deeper than that. But also there's a whole nother army of lost souls in the civilian sector that really think this gym is this hard work and sacrifice. They don't understand the return of investment you get. You have the right fire to go the distance. You had the ability physically to achieve all this stuff. It's about you had the mentality to endure it.
I mean, have you guys ever felt like this career, you know, you ball and chains on you? Like you can't live a life?
As a competitor, to a certain extent, it's different because I know that I don't know one competitor doesn't eat out of Tupperware. I don't know one competitor that doesn't have everything structured and systematic.
No, I don't carry gallons of water with me to the gym because we might have a shortage. I'm not Tupperwareing all my meals and stuff.
There's certain things that we're obligated to do when we're getting ready for a competition, like every morning getting up and doing our fastest cardio and hitting our workouts and staying on schedule for each body part we're supposed to train, and our food and our diet being in accordance to what we're doing for that specific time. Everything has a plan.
Right. Do you see that as a sacrifice? Do you see it as like, oh man, I wish I could go out with the guys. I wish I could do that.
Of course, you know, I would rather eat a burger than eat tilapia and asparagus.
I don't see it. Here's my biggest fucking issue with that, because a burger is a temporary satisfaction. Going out with the boys is temporary relievement. You know, you won't remember any of those parties, but you're framing that picture on your mantle. That means more to me in the balance of life, the achievement, your title, than any of the sacrifices of, oh, I can't eat a burger. That's
why we
fuck
don't
the
do
burger,
it.
man.
You know, you're trying to live legacy. Anyone can eat a burger, but not everyone can win.
That was great. I think we'll have some of that. It could be.
I was cooking mine in a huge bowl.
Yeah.
I've got peanut butter pumpkin and salted
bread,
caramel banana bread.
Pre-contest, I had nothing in my house, right? Nothing in my house. I'd everything gone, and I had a freak out session, a straight freak out session, and I was broke, you know, whatever, so I couldn't even go buy food.
Right.
And I'm opening every cabinet. I'm up on my knees, and my knees hurt. Like I'm looking for anything, and I find a can of beans. As soon as I didn't even grab a spoon. As soon as I got that thing open, it just made it in my mouth. And I'm sitting there in the kitchen, just traumatized. I go out on the balcony, and I just start crying. Oh my God, what have I done? And then I thought, how stupid is this, Dave? You deserve a can of beans. You're all right. And then I have this conversation with myself, and I sit down. Okay, we're gonna be objective. And I wrote a poem about how sad it is that at my size and age and time of life, that eating a can of beans is an emotional experience. It's absolutely a train wreck for me.
Dude, that's hilarious. I can't do it. The show's done. I can't do it. A can of beans.
Oh my God,
A can of beans.
Oh, buddy.
You'd be more filled out.
It was like 2 weeks out, you know, and you're just looking at your skin and you're holding water because you're swollen, and I'm just like, man, this can of beans is just gonna go right here. Oh, you know how it is. You're so emotional.
I go in to see the vice president of Chippendales, and he says, yeah, sure, we'd love to use you for the calendar. And I said, okay, I want the cover. And he said, no, okay, but we want you to go on tour. It was huge in Europe. I decided I was going to do 2 3-month tours because each tour went to different parts of Europe. So there I was in my first show in Paris, you know, in front of 8,500 women. Scared out of my mind. So we do the show, I forget seriously all my wardrobe changes. I'm coming out in the wrong costumes, I'm doing the wrong choreography. But all I could think to myself was, nobody knows anything. Just smile. They're not gonna know anything. Own it. You know, the opening of every show, I get lowered from this cable. So I'm originally above the proscenium, and then I get lowered very slowly, like almost like a fallen angel. I have 1 foot in a stirrup, 1 hand in a safety strap. And when the curtains opened for the opening of the show, they wrapped around me, spun me out, knocked my foot out of the harness, and then I watched the safety strap just unravel. And I just went reaching for it, and it went through my fingers, and I just thought, this is gonna hurt. And then I thought to myself, okay, just don't hit your head, don't hit your head. Landed on the stage first, and then wham, I fall back, but I didn't hit my head. I held it up, tore every muscle in the front of my body, but I held it up. Then I relaxed, and I heard the whole audience gasp at once. Then all of a sudden, I'm saying to myself, just don't go out, don't go out, don't go out, don't go unconscious. One of my best buds is standing over me, slapping me in the face, going, don't leave us, bro, don't leave us, right? And my first reaction was, I'm not hurt. Pick me up, I'm taking harder hits in football, I got a show to do, let's do this. Like, what? And it was about a good 35, 40-foot drop. I didn't know I had internal bleeding and a fractured hip and all that stuff, but I go to take 1 step, nearly fainted. They sat me down. Flash forward, I'm in the hospital. And I'm realizing, you almost just died. You almost just died. You're in a foreign country. You're sitting in a hospital room in a backless robe. You have internal bleeding. You fractured your hip. It was from that point forward that I decided, you know, what kind of man I wanted to be. And so I made a checklist of every single quality I wanted to possess as a man. And if I were to die, how would I want to be remembered?
Me and a couple friends were actually headed down to Phoenix And we were in my buddy's 79 Chevy, big old pickup truck, big V8, no seat belts. And what we did was we put all our bags in the back of the truck. But since there was no tailgate, we all kept looking behind us the whole time, looking behind us. And they didn't even move, you know. But I remember we came around this very sharp corner, and right before we came around the corner, we all looked back at the same time. And when we looked forward, we were on the guardrail. And my friend, I mean, I still remember him to this day just overcorrecting, like, we're doing 75 was our estimated speed. And we hit a 3-foot boulder as it launched us, and we rolled the truck up to the top of the mountain. And I actually couldn't get out of the truck. On the whole top of my head was just wide open. And I had this, you know, my face hit the windshield and went through right here. So I had all this blood in my eyes I couldn't see. All these people had to carry me down, and then they put me in the helicopter. I do remember them telling me this: we have 6 hours from the time of the accident to get you in, or you're gonna lose your hip. Once I was finally able to get out of bed, I just remember looking at myself in the mirror. I noticed for the first time all the physical changes I had made my body make. I was like, man, actually, look what I've done to my body in just 2 years. Like, this is amazing. I remember wheeling myself into the gym for the first time since the accident. And my dad, I could just tell he was so nervous. He didn't want to let go of that wheelchair. And I got out of balance pretty fast when you can only hit upper body. It's pretty fast how everything just atrophies, and it was very hard not to be mad. I was very mad for a little while. Why me? Why this? Now I can't do legs, you know? And it actually took me 9 years before I would step on stage because I wanted my legs to match my upper body.
Now wrap it up, 5 reps, come on.
I was walking home, I got a message on my phone. It was my ex-wife, and she said that she's taking my kids to another state. And my heart dropped. I mean, that moment, I was like, I'm gonna lose my sons. So, sorry. So at that point, I just looked up. I said, just give me a way. Because I was working 60 hours a week in a job that I hated. And the only real thing that I did all that for was for my family. I said, there's so much in this world that happens to us that's beyond our control. And I reached out and I said, whatever that is, I need you to help me. And I prayed. And I just asked for an opportunity. I said, man, you know, I'm gonna take a leap of faith and I'm gonna go to New York because I wanna be close to my sons. And I remember a week later, I got a phone call from an agent. It's the same agent that Greg worked with. He called me and said, hey, I saw some photos of you. And because I had done the best way to help your self-esteem after a breakup is to join like a personal site. That was, back then it was like, you know, instant redemption, you know, like I'm gonna show her. They used it, their personals ad, they used one of my photos to advertise. And somebody had said, hey man, this guy's got a good look. Random, completely random. And just come to New York, just meet with me for a few hours, and we'll discuss your future. I didn't even know where she had lived and where the kids had lived. She lived 3 miles away from him. And so that was all I needed. I got rid of all my stuff, and I got everything in my car, and I moved up there. And I lived in a house with 8 guys. You know, 2 to a room, you know, and hustled. And saw my kids. Like, I would surprise them and go see them at school, and they'd be like, Daddy, you know, and I'd walk them home because, you know, those are moments.
He always instilled with me, like, you have to be the best. There wasn't second. There is no second place. Nothing less than your absolute best is acceptable. And, you know, it's something that stuck with me. And, you know, he was hard on us, really hard. really, really hard on us, me and my brother. And being able to handle that and that's what I'm looking for. Being able to handle that and to channel that energy into something positive and not being able to let that come down on you and let it ruin you is something that there's a very fine line between. You know, my brother, I don't even want to go into that, to be honest. It's a real touchy subject of that. Kind of lost his way after that. He's better now, but, you know, and it kind of comes down to, you know, being able to handle what we went through when we were younger, the pressure and the fear of failing. My junior and senior year, it's important years for anybody. You know, I was a star football player in high school. You know, I 3.875 GPA. I did everything I was supposed to be doing. You know, and it was tough because my family was distracted by situations that were going on. And I didn't really understand it at the time. I always knew I can go to the gym and kind of get away from it.
I lived in the boys' home. My parents, were drug addicts. I was born a drug baby. I had a bunch of baggage. Oh man, I hurt inside. I hurt everywhere I went. And it turned into acting up in class. It turned into creating more problems. All through high school, all through basically till I was 30. I carried it. I felt like nobody related. I felt like nobody got how I felt. Being a guy that kind of wears everything on his sleeve, what I had to do to prove to everybody that I hurt. Drink, fight, and just totally mutilate my life to prove to people that I cared. Because I went from a drug-abusing, needle in my arm, total loser, bankrupt, to a cover of a fitness magazine within a year of my very first step. And not only did I have to lose weight and build muscle and figure it out from total ignorance, but I had to do it with no money. I had to do it with no job. I kept going. I kept trying to earn it. I wanted to get that respect, that affirmation of Kimberly, you've done it, from those that I loved. After not stopping, proving that for a half a year I could be the man I said I was going to be, and you're all tired of waiting for me to be that guy. Well, I'm him now. Just, did you notice? I got lost. You know, suicide is a very selfish thing. But when you reach that point, you think it's the most unselfish thing you can do because you just want the pain to stop. That's it. All I would do is try to sleep because it's the only time it would stop. But you can't sleep forever. And I grabbed 2 bottles of my medication and I drank it with that 5th. And I thought that was gonna be it. But it wasn't. I woke up 3 days later, still alive. And after that, I remember driving. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I remember driving to my parents' house. My dad is a barber. He was busy. I busted in the barber shop, and he knew something was wrong. Seriously wrong. And I looked at him, and I said, Dad, I'm gonna kill myself. I need help. I don't know why. I don't know what to do. And I saw my dad age 20 years. And that 5 seconds, I saw it break him. It's just so hard to even think about, but
He made some calls, and within 3 hours, I was admitted. It made me worse by being in there. And they pumped me full of so many drugs that I was in bed for a year after that. A full year. It's the only time I ever stopped lifting. I dropped down to 142 pounds. And I was pretty hopeless at that point. You're on all those medications. You're not person. You are not there. Matt was not there. I was empty. I'd have friends come and visit me. And I'd watch them get scared because it wasn't me. I had no personality. I had no smile. It was gone. It was like I was an empty vessel. I just prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. Every day, every day. And one day I woke up and I felt different. I felt different. I got up. I actually ate something and I went to the gym. It was the first place I went. That was like the day that I broke through. I really believe what has saved my life has been the support of my family, finding God, but fitness. By far the hardest thing I ever had to do was look at myself. And I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself first. Learn to love myself. It starts with yourself.
There's a certain amount of struggle that has to be accepted. You gotta accept the struggle. There's this threshold in life. And where your mind's at, your mind thinks the threshold's here. And your body and your destiny and your greatness is here. Because it's not what you thought about and what you've done that's gonna get you where you wanna go. To get what you want, you have to do what you've never done.
I was sitting strong, man. I bought a house well over $1 million. I had, $800,000 in the stock market. I was on a couple TV shows. I was doing commercials, everything else. Within 6 months, I was dead broke, $400,000 in debt. Both jobs were canceled and bills were steep coming in, man. There's a reality check real fast for you. And it wasn't like I did something to cause that. That was just an evolution of the market, housing market, and the depression and the recession that we all went into. Who are you there, It's really easy in the EKG of life. It's kind of funny that the heartbeat is that, right? Because isn't that life itself? And who are you at the top? The character, who's that person? How are you defining yourself there? And is that different than down here? And if it is, something's seriously wrong, because you can never be defined by success. You must always define it. And when you get success, that person's hungry. You ask that person, hey, what are you all about? I'm gonna be this. Talk about future, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be this. Then you ask somebody who has a success, the coin flips. All of a sudden, that success defines them. Oh, who are you? I did this. Well, there's a past tense there. And if it's past tense or it's idle, it's not moving, man. And you can't grow from that. You always have to reinvent the wheel, retry things. And you can never be a victim of the situation. It always has to be, it can never get too comfortable, man. Those comfort zones are really danger zones because you never try your true potential. But, I had a big wake-up call, man. All my friends left me. I thought they were friends, man. Gone, man. I started pointing my finger at everybody saying, that's crap, I can't believe that. 3 were pointing back at me. I had to fix myself, man. I rescued 3 dogs, man. I was supporting my parents. Everything was gonna go down. The dogs had to find a new place. I didn't know it was gonna go down, man. I just knew that it wasn't an option. I started going, Per Bernal, photographer. I went to his house doing construction, man. I was doing construction. And I remember this girl came by, we shot a few covers, and she came by, she said, oh, Greg, cool, I was hoping we'll shoot together. I'm covered in shit, man, covered in shit. And she's like, we're not shooting together? I'm like, nah. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to keep my house, man. I couldn't go to auditions and then a call back, not getting paid anything. And then it wasn't fast enough. These bills were coming in hard. I made $30K a month coming in, I had to throw out. I had to grow up real fast, Your greatest hour as a human is usually right after your worst hour of despair. And that was a rebound effect for me. And I look back at that as a blessing, man. People are like, hey, what's your biggest failure? What's your biggest failure? I go, I don't know if I have one, because each one of them molded something to me where I learned so much about myself. If I were to pull that out of my life, I don't know who I'd be right now. And I never let failure stand as failure. I just kept trying.
You know, as they say, failure is temporary, giving up's permanent. I'd be damned if at the end of my days, man, I'm never gonna have any regret.
It's interesting what Greg said, you know, when you're in your darkest hours, if you just hang in there and you fight through, something good is gonna come out.
I love competing, but competing isn't just a job on its own. You know, we got to do other things to be successful. You're not gonna be successful just competing. You know, it's other things that you have to get involved in the industry to make money.
So guys like me, looking to get a small chunk of money from these guys and be in the magazine and competing with not only celebrities, but the other six-packs that are amazing walking around is hard. So I really upped my game and made sure that I met my potential. And if, you know what, if that's not good enough, fine, I understand. If I'm not the right look, the right color, the right ethnicity, the right anything, the right height, that's fine with me. But I don't want to be turned down after not showing my best.
In our business, we're building a body. Then if you want to get smart and be successful, you got to have a business plan. You got to have a marketing scheme. You got to know how to deliver that product to the consumer. And that's what it's all about. And I think that's why I think TJ's been really successful. Davey's been successful, and a lot of other guys, is that they understand that their body is just a product. You know, it's nothing more than that. You build a product, and then you sell that product. How you get the product, the motivation behind the product, how to maintain the product.
I did a great spread in a magazine, and they told me, Kimberly, you're gonna have the cover. And I'm waiting for this thing to come out. I'm all excited. And who's on the cover? TJ. And I'm trying to explain to somebody why that happened. And that was very subjective. Yeah, you know? So there's competition.
He's
you know?
that's your competitor.
He's a smooth approach, well, TJ. A competitor, he moved right in. A competitor can go in and talk to the judges, and you're supposed to. Why did I win? Why did I lose? What's my edification? How do I get better? What do I fix? And as a talent or a model, sometimes you don't get that. And you just get you didn't get the cover. You know, they just don't even tell you. So subjectively, you have to look at the guy on the cover and go, why? Why is Greg Plitt get so many covers?
Let me ask you this, man, and you tell me what you think, or anyone here, competitors. So let's say you're all dialed in, you trained really hard, and you're really cut up, right? And you go to a shoot, and you know the world's gonna see this cover, right? And the photographer says, hey man, I want you to go soft, don't flex. So they want to take a picture and show the world that's not your best in your mind. Are you cool with that? Or are you all ego? So yeah, it's gotta be like this, it's gotta be like this. Because if you want to be successful, you gotta be marketable. You have to have crossover. You gotta be adjust up and down 5-6 pounds. It can't all be about how cut you are, because you know the population at large is trying to buy this for inspiration, motivation. If you're really dialed in, the majority of the public's like, oh, he got some help with that, you know? It's like, hey, I respect the work ethic, but I don't want to go that route. It's what they're thinking, maybe. You get a person in there that's kind of somewhat in shape, whatever else, the majority of people look and go, man, you know what? I respect that guy, the hard work, the right diet. It's achievable, you know? So it motivates them. Otherwise, if it's too cut up, maybe it's unattainable, and it kind of deters their motivation. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into fitness modeling that's outside the box of the physique. It's the motivation and the mentality around the gym, because we're trying to build a lifestyle. We're not trying to build, hey, you're gonna be in shape 3 times a year and that's it. No, we're trying to build hey, being in shape is better, it's healthier. It's not all about the vanity, but also about, you know, the longevity, right?
And so to anyone out here that is thinking that they're gonna do this and get rich once they get on a cover or hit the stage, it's not that way. Most guys, you know, they run a deficit just trying to compete because it's expensive to compete. To eat right is expensive. Yeah. If you don't have a supplement sponsor, to pay for supplements every month is expensive.
When you say the paycheck, I've never invoiced a magazine for a cover. I don't think I've ever gotten paid. What I've gotten paid is the networking. You know, you're building relationships with people. And so, yeah, you don't get the cheap.
You're talking publicity with the covers.
Yeah, that's all it really is, man. See, the public sees your cover next to GQ, who's a big movie star, right? And so they had this assimilation that, you know, you made it. I wish that was the case, man. I wish that was the case.
What comes after the cover? What comes after the 50th, the 100th, the 1000th cover?
I can give you a million examples, but what happens after the contest? You know, how many plastic trophies are going to make you feel good? I mean, where's the money? Where's that start? Or is it about the money? Or is it about something else? At the end of the day, what's it about? So what's your driving force? It can't just be about you winning. There's got to be some higher point. Like the gym can't be about the ends. The gym has to be the means of some ends.
Get into this for you. get into this for the love of the sport, for training hard, for inspiring others. Because to me, and I'm sure everyone up here will say the same thing, there's no greater payday than actually affecting someone's life for the positive. Because the way that makes you feel, it's all about helping other people.
What's up, guys? How you doing, man? How you doing, man? Good, bro. Can I get a picture with you? Looking good, man. Looking large, man. You don't want to do it too often. You gotta let the muscle heal, so then you can tear it again, let it recover, and then go back at it.
There you go, man.
Hey, the standards, man.
You got it, brother.
Hey, I love you, stuff.
Okay, we have our caramel pizza, we have our strawberries and cream. Thank you.
Keep it up.
2013
You got it? Not bad for a 60-year-old, right? Shadowed up. I'm too old to go back to school. I'm so not cool. Oh my God. What you're putting in your body, not only from the macronutrient, protein, fats, and carbs.
It's about trying to come in with small wins in a really balanced physique.
Shooting with the right photographers, building up the social media platform.
It's never let me down. It's never abandoned me. It's never cheated on me. It's never lied to me. 100 pounds is 100 pounds, It's always been there for me. It's just, you gotta put in the work. And we all maybe start for different reasons, but you're only gonna continue if it's for you and it's for a positive reason. It's for the right reasons.
There needs to be a sense of emotional turmoil. You need to be so sick of being, having the same physique, If you want to look like somebody, do it. You gotta be so sick of yourself. Be like, listen, I don't care. I'm going to gym for 2 hours every single day for the next month, and I'm gonna see my results.
This is about authentic, about new, about transforming. And that's a strange, brave world. You gotta be a pioneer. Your body's a gift, connect to it, use it, experience it. It's authentic, it's real. You have a fingerprint that separates you from everybody else in the world. Because 99% of the world's average, but they don't look like that. What makes you get up in the morning and make this commitment? Because every other week or something, the world's gonna see us, and as you climb the ladder, everybody hates you. Everybody's waiting for your trip and fall. With success, many will love you, the majority will hate you, because your success is like a spotlight shining down on their missed opportunity.
I've beaten the best in the world, and I'm still not satisfied. Even with Olympia this year, I'm very proud of what I've accomplished, but it's just the beginning. You think I'm gonna sit down and be happy about winning? No way. I'm back in the gym. I'm back on the grind because I gotta outwork every single person coming after me. Sadiq and I didn't even say a dang word to each other, even hardly at check-ins or backstage, nothing, because I knew he was my #1 competition going to that show. The one person I was worried about was Sadiq. If anybody other than myself would get the title, it would be him. And I'm gonna do everything I can to stay on top. I'm gonna do everything I can to keep Sadiq at second. I don't ever go into a show not think I'm gonna win. But there's no reason why the man standing next to me should be any better than me. There's no reason. I have the target on me. Every single person in IFBB that competes in the men's physique division is coming after me.
There is no off season. I call that unemployment. And I can't tell you how many covers I've stolen where photographers will call me up and they'd be like, hey Greg, whatchamacallit, couldn't make the flight or came in out of shape or whatever else, what are you doing in an hour?
My skin is pure and my mind is green, but my heart is built just like a guillotine. And all the world my sights right on the brass ring. All the doors are opened up for me. If you don't believe it, wait and see. I'm gonna go all the way this time. I'm gonna show everyone what's mine. I'm living with everything I know. Anybody wanna come along? Let's go. My mood is right for a brand new way. Gonna live this life like it's the last day. And holding back never crossed my mind. Gonna say goodbye, this is the last time. I can feel it burning deep inside. I can see my future open wide. I'm gonna go all the way this time. I'm gonna show everyone what's mine. I'm living with everything I know. Anybody wanna come along? Let's go. I'm gonna go all the way this time. I'm gonna show everyone what's mine. I'm living with everything I know. Anybody, I've put this off before, but I won't fail again. There's only one thing left for me, and I will win. I will win. This could be the last chance I have left. Nobody wants it more than me.
So many people out there fail not because they don't have the ability. It's because they don't have a heart to go through adversity. Your life is not about making money. It's not about having the titles. It's not about having the hot trophy wife. Your life is about a moment to come. It's inevitable. We cannot stop it from coming. Right now, we have the most valuable asset on earth on our side, time. But it's running out. And to make that first step towards greatness is the hardest step. There's so much power in failure because you learn so much from it. If you don't like where you are right now, turn around and look at what you've done. You've built every single step to create this. Just taking the easy road too many times, not getting up, not going for that extra rep, putting that extra mile in. The little inches of life that add up to be first place or forgotten.
Can't finish strong. Let's do this. Yeah, come on. How much more you got?
This is why you're the champ. Come on, show them why you're the champ.
The willpower, the belief, the confidence. And just like you go to the gym and you lift your muscles, right? You have to exhaust them to grow them, use it or lose it. Your confidence must be the same way. It must be tested. Safety, comfort zones are dead zones because your true potential will never be matched. We know what struggle is. We know what adversity is. We know what failure is. No, you have to build that. The perseverance to see it through. The never say die attitude. The difference between a champion and someone who's forgotten is that champion shows up. Don't tell me that what you do and who you are doesn't matter. You were born in an original. Don't die a copy.
I'm grinding, everybody got my city on lock. I'm grinding, stacking paper, them haters to the top. I'm grinding on the block, I'm grinding in the drop. I'm grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding. Everybody got my city on lock. I'm grinding, stacking paper, them haters to the top. I'm grinding on the block, I'm grinding in the drop. I'm grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding. I ain't grinding for the money, I ain't grinding
grinding for the fame, but I'm grinding so hard and to franchise the name. Yeah, the answer's still the same. Yo, time is what you rep. Colorado till I die, yo, until there's nothing left. No breath in the lungs, no gas in the tank. Till there's nobody, somebody, and nobody you can't. Everybody say that they grinding, you ain't grinding till you listening. Everybody say they shining, you ain't shining till you glistening. I'm looking at this music, reevaluate positioning. If all the greats dead, I'm about to come up missing it. I'm better than a veteran, more clever and ahead of them. I'm better than I ever been. Oh, here we go with this again. Somebody get his medicine. It's about to be the death of him. He grinding too hard. John Bonham, Led Zeppelin. Attention back. You ain't grinding like me. I'm an insomniac skateboard. I grind when I sleep. I'm grinding. Everybody got my city on lock. I'm grinding, stacking paper, them haters to the top. I'm grinding on the block. I'm grinding in the drop. I'm